Hey everyone, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and in this stream you all get to see me do my work as a front-end developer, and I don't plan this ahead of time, so I make a lot of mistakes and we work through the mistakes together. This is very much an interactive stream, so I'm going to paste the link into the live chat now. If you go to that link, you'll be able to see the project as we work on it. If I update it on my computer locally, you will see the updates in real time. You can inspect the site with DevTools. You can go on different pages, so you're not limited to what I'm showing you on my screen. And we split everything up into Pomodoro sessions. So if you're not familiar with the Pomodoro technique, I definitely recommend it. But basically the way we're using it on this stream is that for 25 minutes, we do some code, and I have minimal interaction with the live chat. Then for 5 minutes, I go to the live chat and I focus on all of your questions and comments. Then we do another 25-minute session of code, and then at the end of that, I go through all the remaining comments and questions. So feel free to add your questions in, and if you see me doing something wrong or you're just not sure why I'm doing something a certain way, put that in the live chat as well. I get a lot of great advice from all of you in the chat. And really the projects are much better off because of that. So I welcome your input. If you want to check out the GitHub repo, the link is in the description to this video. Hey everyone, this is also a little earlier than normal. Let me know what you think about this earlier time. Does it work better for you all? You know, I know that I can't stream at a time that'll work for everyone's schedule, but sometimes it's good to switch up the time and just see who can make it and who can't. So let me know about that. Today, let me switch my camera. There we are. So today, we're going to work on those search filters that we started to work on last week at some point. And we're going to try to actually get them working. So I'm not sure what I did to the search, but it doesn't work for me at all now. So evidently we left it in a broken state, which is okay. We'll figure that out now. Let me check. We have some activity in the live chat. Let's check this before we start our timer. We had a question, is this all on CodePen? No, this isn't on CodePen. The code is in GitHub, and you can use that link. Let me post the link again in case you weren't in the chat yet. So the link that I just posted in the live chat will let you view the site as we're working on it. Sometime very soon, this test version of this site will be available 24/7. So when that happens, you all will have the link for the test version of the site. All right, hey everyone. All right, so I do want to let you all know that this site is going to launch soon, so we need to get it ready. So on the streams, we'll be working on things like a search, and we'll be working on the routing and some like minor UI improvements. For me, when I'm not doing the live stream, I'm going to be working on getting all the remaining data transferred over. So it's going to be somewhat boring for me, but I'm going to try to keep the actual streams a little bit more exciting. Let's see. I'm also considering using Now instead of making multiple servers on DigitalOcean. So if anybody has any experience using Now, especially for projects like this, please let me know what your opinion on that is. I haven't tested it yet. I'd like to test it first and maybe read up a little more on it. But it seems like it's going to be a better solution in that there'll be less things to maintain, and it'll scale automatically much more easily than if we actually had to go in and start up new DigitalOcean servers or take them down. Okay, so let's go to the search page on this site. Oops, almost forgot to start the timer. Where is my timer? There it is. Let's pull the timer over onto our screen here so we don't have to switch everything around. Alright, so we're going to start this Pomodoro timer. This timer happened to be built by Harshit, who is frequently in the live streams and has contributed a lot to our GitHub repos. Alright, so let's go to that search page. If you have the ngrok link, you can check out the search page as well. So right now, if I try to do a search, I'm getting the black screen with an error. So I'm not going to even try it right now. But what we are going to do, and I don't need this to be quite so large, we're going to get these working so that we'll make a search with these checkboxes, whether they're going to be checked or not, and it will alter the results that we get back for our search. So here's our search component. I'm going to make a little bit of room here and then increase the text size. So let's shrink that down, and let's move this over. We can also move this side over a bit. And I think that should be big enough. Let me know if it's hard for any of you to see, but you know, if you're on at least a desktop, you know, with decent resolution, this should work. I'm not really sure how it'll look on a phone. Let's see. So here's our filter. So we have this, some functions already in here. We have a few functions that we're not actually using yet that we brought over from a previous project. So let's take a second and sort things out just to see where we are, since it has been about a week since we worked on this. Alright, so these are just our styles. We can skip through the styles here. In our state, let's take a look at what we have going on. So this is for the data when it does come back from the WordPress API, which is where we're going to get the data from. This is going to house our search term. This is going to house the type of search we want to do. So in this case, it's going to be the post types that we'd like to search for. So that's where our filters come into play. All of our checkboxes are also our filters. So these are the values, true or false, checked or not checked. Here's where we actually make the API calls. So this base is going to be the same always. And this URL, for now, this is going to be, this IP address will be the URL, but that may change. In fact, it's likely to change when we get closer to launch. But for this, we take the search term, which is what's typed into the input, and then we add the search type or multiple types, which is what we'll get from the checkbox. And then that whole string gets sent to the WordPress API. Alright, so the logic for that lives in another component. So I'm not going to go over that right now, but if you check out the fetch component, what did we call it? Yeah, so in the utils folder, the component named fetch.js, that'll show you what's going on there if you want to check it out in the GitHub repo. Alright, so we have some logic for getting the value out of that checkbox. We're debouncing so that we don't fire off a bunch of API calls, you know, more than we need. And let's see, we're going to get search results. I'd like to see where our problem is. You know what, let's run a search and see what that error message looks like. I know we got results with that search term since this is a website for a Catholic school, so they're going to have that word in there somewhere. Alright, so our data, there is no data really. This state data map is not a function. So we're trying to map over data, but there's no data. Let's check that out. let's see where we're doing that. This state map, this state data map. Okay, so here's where we're doing that. So if this is state data, I thought we had taken care of this. I guess not. Let's try dot length is greater than 0. Whoops. Let's try a check like that. I mean, I still think it might not even go through this check, but let's see how that works. Okay, so we're not getting an error anymore, which is good. Let's see what's happening in our console, what we're getting here. Oh, okay, interesting. Type param is required parameter. It needs to be an array. Okay, so the problem seems to be with our types. Alright, so let's see what we're doing here. Alright, I'm going to check the live chat as well, see if anyone's seeing anything that I don't. Okay, hey everybody, I see a lot of people saying hi. Let's, alright, well, let's step through this a little bit more closely. Look at my error again. Type param is a required parameter, and it needs to be an array. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'm just formatting this in the wrong way. Oh, okay. This is an example that they're giving back of what it needs to be like. So it's only sending this. So my I see. You know, we need to make a checkbox that's for all. So obviously the default is going to be to search everything, right? I think that's expected. Users will expect that by default everything's going to be searched. Let's see. And then as you check things, it'll narrow it down. So we need to send a string that searches for every post type at first. Now, I'm not going to create that string right now, but at least in terms of the filters that we're using, we can search for all of them. Then once a checkbox is checked, then we switch over and use what we have from there. So it'll be, all right, I think the easiest way to fix this is to say this state search type. I want to make sure that we're clearing the search type first, or it's at least somewhere we're clearing it. Price filter. Alright, we're not using the price filter yet. Filter by category. Alright, we're not actually using this yet. There we are. So we're using let's search string equal searching. Okay. Alright, this will work. That'll work. Alright, so what we need then is to have a default value for this search type. And we'll worry about how to get back to the all a different time. Or should the value... Oh, how about this? This can be a little different than I thought, but what if the default value for the checkboxes is true? That should solve everything. The default value for every checkbox will be true, and then users can go through and uncheck things they don't want. I think it would be useful maybe to have some option to just clear all, but I think that's going to be our quickest solution right now. So let's do that, and this should give us results. True, true, true. And let's see, when does that change? Does it just change on click, or are we doing it on search as well? Create search types. Maybe we should move this. Let's move this from when a checkbox is checked to when we're actually going to get results. Get search results. Let's see, get from prevent default. So Debounce search term. Okay. I don't remember which one of these is actually being called. Let's go down to our form. We'll have to clean that up at some point. I don't think we need those examples anymore, so we can probably get rid of them. So where's our input? On change. Get search results is what gets called. Alright, so this is the one that gets called. Debounce search, return value. Okay, we probably should do some of this. I'm not going to delete it right away, but at first we're going to run that. There we are. Alright, the reason that I want to run this in the search is that we when the component first mounts and everything's checked, it won't actually add those terms to our search type string until someone checks or unchecks a checkbox. But we want those added right away. So the alternative would have been to manually add that search string, which may still be a better alternative. But for right now, I think this will be quicker and allow us to test our system and just make sure it works. And then we can handle refactoring it. And let's try this. I'm focusing. Let's see. Cancel any pending search. Alright, I'm gonna wait. I was gonna pull that down here, but let's just see if this works now. Let's just refresh. And let's check. Yay, it worked. Alright, great. Now let's toggle this so I can just see what's going on a little bit easier. Okay, so now if I click faculty, I should only get faculty. See, I didn't even get any faculty members on this search. Oh, you know what? That should trigger another search. So we're gonna make sure we have it trigger another search. All right, so that's not working properly. So let's see. This is now checked. We search, but we can see it's still searching for this old type. So I've done something incorrectly. So we know two things. One, we got to make sure we clear out the old search term in state and add the new one. And then we also need it to search automatically when we check things. So I think that's what users expect. I don't want to make users have to manually click search again. Alright, so let's check it out. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so let's see what happens when we do check a checkbox. So we'll go down here and start first with our checkbox. So when I check the faculty checkbox, it says this, handle change, and then faculty. So let's scroll up and look at handle change. So handle change takes the name and the event checked. So this state checkboxes name equals checked, this state checkboxes. Okay, so we're changing the state of that particular checkbox. Good. So this state checkbox is changed. Now what needs to happen as well is a search needs to happen there. So let's go up to see what our search, get search results. So you know what, search results. We can, should we skip this? Yes, create search types. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get the correct event if we call this. So we're not going to call that. I want to see what our create search type thing is. Key value. Okay. Alright, so I think we should call this fetch search term. It's going to get everything it needs from state anyway. And I guess we ought to move this then. Since we're not, let's see where we're going to run this. All right, you know what? Let's have it here, and then let's also have it here. Oops, did we have it here or not? Let's have it here. Oh, I lost what I had copied it. Handle change. All right, let's see if we've changed anything here. Okay, that worked. Now let's go faculty. Oh, you know what? I missed a step, but let's try to search with that. And no, it didn't change anything. That's interesting. So it should have type major. Yeah, it still didn't change anything. Wait a second, hold on. All right, I see what's happening. Let's check on the state, because these should have been checked by default. I don't think we're using controlled components here, and that's one problem we need to solve no matter what. There we are. Here's our state. Let's shrink this a bit, and I'm gonna increase the size on DevTools so y'all can see what's happening. Oh, that's too big. Okay. So our state, here's our data, search term, search type. There we are. Okay, so let's refresh now. Check it out again. Okay, search term, search type. So let's do. Alright, so here's our search type. Our checkboxes are all true. And if I check it, it stays true. Now it's full. So I check once, check twice. So now my search type is correct. So if I went like that, see, now it just gives me majors. So I can unclick that. So we just need to change that initial state. Faculty, great. Okay, there we have the faculty. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. That at least part of our problem was the checkboxes weren't showing that they were actually checked. So it took 2 clicks to get anything to change. So when I come back from the break, we're going to make sure we fix that, the checkbox is being checked right off the bat. And then I also do want to automatically search again when these checkboxes are checked or unchecked. So let's take our break now. And I'm going to scroll all the way up to the top of the chat and just work my way down. And I'm expecting an email, so I keep checking my email. So if you see me like bending down to look, that's what I'm looking at. Let's see. Alright, so we have hello from Italy, someone from Spain. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching. Alright, so we have some opinions on the stream time. So the time was good for some, not so good for others. So I'm going to continue to maybe stream like around noon, somewhere around there. But I may need to do other times. Excuse me. Sorry for the yawn. Whenever I do that, I always hope I don't make a lot of other people yawn. You know how yawning is contagious. Alright, so Anuj, it's A-N-U-J. Please let me know how to correctly pronounce that. But Anuj says, hey buddy, what are you working on? I'm kind of new here, but subscribed to you long way back. Alright, awesome. Well, thank you for subscribing, and thanks for watching. So basically we have this React project, and we're trying to make a search function within React. So we did get the search function working, but now we want to add in some filters. So you can see it's working, but the controls for the filters aren't very good right now. So we're going to try to work on those. Michael says, early start today. Yeah, it was an early start today. I might go to lunch with some of my coworkers. So they've been asking me, they ask me to go to lunch frequently, and I usually stream during lunch, so I've kind of skipped out on a lot of stuff. So I think I want to try to go today and hang out with them a bit. All right, Michael says, what if we do search filter equals search filter or the star maybe? Yes, you know what, something like that could work as well. Yeah, maybe we'll that may end up being like the final solution that I use. I think that's a better solution than what I'm doing now. Siwafat, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Please let me know. I'd love to be able to pronounce that correctly. But anyway, they say, hi Jesse, I did subscribe you. Awesome, thank you very much for subscribing. And I do have another channel, so I stream on the freeCodeCamp channel, and then I also do some videos on my own channel. Not nearly as many videos, but I think I am going to start producing more like small, very focused tutorial videos. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe to my channel as well. I think there's a link to it in the description. And occasionally I do some live streams on that channel as well. Usually like live streams about side projects and tutorials that I'm working on. Let's see. Hey Anna, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. Abhinav asked how long my Pomodoro sessions are. 25-minute sessions with 5-minute break in between. Anna asked if I was sick. I'm not like fully sick. I have a sore throat, and I was really congested all night, but it's starting to clear up now. So I hope I'm not getting sick. Thank you for asking, though. Brian Sizemore, who is in the office right next to me, said I yawned, but I heard you through the wall. Sorry for making you yawn. All right, the break is over. Let's go back. I actually got through everything in the live chat in that 5 minutes, so that rarely happens. That was perfect timing. All right, so let's go back to here. I am going to take a drink, and I got the Gfuel, so hopefully this will keep me from yawning. Let's see. Abby Nav says, "You're grinding on your lunch. Keep up the hard work." Yeah, I have been. I've been working through my lunch break for a long, long time. But there's a lot to do, and sometimes you get in the zone and you don't want to stop. Brian says, "Chug, chug." Could you all hear me chugging that? I'm really sorry if you could. I will try not to chug loudly next time. I'm sure that was gross. Okay. So let's figure out what we're going to do with these checkboxes. All right, I think it was Michael's suggestion, and let's take these checkboxes and let's move them back to false. Let's move them back to false, and then we'll do this search type. This state search type. Let's split this out. Just to make it a bit easier. What do I want to call this? Search term. We just keep it as search type. Oops. Equals in the wrong place. So this is going to equal this state search type, and then we're going to need to put in our string that has all the stuff. So is it still here? Can I just copy and paste it? Catholic faculty major type, Catholic department major. Yeah, this is it. It's still right here. Okay. Hopefully this will work. Actually, it might not work. I'm just going to try it and see it, but if any of you know without me trying, it'll save a few seconds. Will it just grab this value since it's an empty string, or will it see the empty string and go to the OR? We'll find out in a second, I guess. Search type, and then down here we're just going to put search type. Alright. Okay, cool. So eventually this will end up being a giant string, but for now this kind of solves the problem of the checkboxes. And then the other thing that we wanted to do was when a checkbox is clicked, we wanted to search. So fetch search term. I think we can call fetch search term. Or should we do Are we not doing the debounce search? What are we doing? Get search results, this debounce search. Yeah, let's call this debounced search. Nah, I don't want to pass in a value here. Debounce this. Do we need a value? Alright, let me think about this. Search term value. So the state, search term value here. So we don't need to pass in a value to debounce search. Right, it doesn't even do anything with that value. I'm not sure. I don't even know why I'm passing it. Okay. So we're gonna do on click of a checkbox, which it's handle change. We're also gonna do this here, debounce search. Okay, so we have a lot going on there. Let's check it out and see what happens. So I'm just gonna start fresh, and we're gonna try to do a search right off the bat. Make sure that still works. Okay, great. And I want to clear that out, and well, I guess it'll search automatically no matter what. So now I want to click faculty. Great, we got a search automatically, and it's only faculty. Wonderful. Now let's click department as well. And there we go. We have department and faculty. Wonderful. Now let's click major. And now majors are there. Let's take away faculty. Let's take away department. Wonderful. Alright, great. So that's working. Let's just make sure, like, let's say we hit enter, or take one of these away to do a search. Are we getting? I can't tell if we're actually searching it anymore. Is it not letting me search again? Okay, searches are happening then. Alright, cool. And it is major. Alright. Excellent. Okay, so those minor changes have essentially solved all the issues that we were having. Alright, so let's think, what do we need now? It's just some kind of repetitive work is going to be involved with just getting every single type, making a checkbox for it. We won't need to change anything. The only thing we need to change in the code is when we add a new checkbox, we'll just need to make sure that we add that type to this string as well, and it should work. The next thing that we need to work on is sorting. So we want the user to be able to select sorting by alphabetical order or reverse alphabetical order, and then also by date, so newest or oldest. And we're gonna have to go, yeah, we'll go by the WordPress date. That's not going to be accurate for everything because, right, we're migrating all this data in. So a lot of the data, even though it was created, you know, maybe sometimes years ago, it's going to have a much newer date. The exception is in the news. All the news that I brought over, I made the dates in WordPress match the dates that they had in the old system, the Electron system. So those dates will work, and I think that makes sense. I don't know if I did it for events, but I don't think we're going to be displaying past events anyway. At least that was the last time I talked to my boss about it. I think there wasn't really a need for that. So I think that'll be fine. As the site keeps on being updated, that will actually be somewhat useful if people are coming to the site and they just want to know what's new. They can use that. Okay, That makes sense. Now what we'll need to do as well is, for sorting, it would be wonderful if we could just sort the results that we get automatically, but we may need to make an API call and get items back based on that sorting. This is going to be challenging. That's going to be really challenging. The reason it's challenging is maybe it won't be. I think we've done something similar in past projects, so I'm going to have to look through some old code. I don't think I'm going to do it right now on the stream because I don't remember exactly where it's at. I don't want to take up a lot of time with that. But here's what I'm thinking. So we're limited to getting 100 posts in a search. So let's say our search actually matches 500 posts, but we only get 100. If I only sort through the 100 that we got, then let's say we're sorting by alphabetical order. Like I'm not going to get all the posts, certainly, or by date. I'm not going to get. Basically, the point is, like, it's going to sort what's only there, meaning the 100. So even if in the other 400 there's something that should be at the top of the list, let's say it's alphabetical order and there's a bunch of things to start with A, they're not going to get there at the top of the list because we don't have that data yet. But if I make an API call, I mean, you got to make another call, right? And then I sort the data on the WordPress side of things and then send the sorted data. So I don't just get the first 100 posts, I get the first 100 posts already sorted alphabetically. So maybe it might only be A through C, but it will be everything. Then whenever we scroll down, the user can either press a button or we'll do the infinite scroll, and it can make the next API call, and it can ask for it. We can tell it to skip the first 100 and do the next call, and then we can just increment on top of that to make more calls and keep skipping until there's no more. I have some code for that in an old project as well, so I'm gonna have to check that out. It was done with jQuery, but the logic should still work. But what we can do to save API calls is do a check and say, like, we can look at this that we're getting back here. So we keep getting back this data and displaying it in the console. If we check this out and look at the length of this array, and if the length of the array is 100, then we'll do another API call. But if the length is less than 100, then we know we've gotten all the results already. And so instead of doing an API call, we'll just do a normal sort. We just do a .sort on it, and that should save us a lot of time. I mean, and by a lot, like, it's probably still going to be less than a second, but it's going to save traffic, and it should just be a faster experience. Does that make sense? I just did a lot of talking and not a lot of coding, so let me start to code some of this out as much as I can. So let's do a sort by date. Yeah, let's do date. And all right. So sort by date will be yes, actually, there's going to be yeah, all right, let's make a new function. And are we going to make this? I'm going to get rid of this for now. And price filter, I'm going to get rid of this for now. Filter by category. Let's leave this in for now. Okay, so let's say sort. So we're going to do sort, and then we're going to say type, so the sort type, and then we'll go in here, and here's where we'll do our function. Oops, did I mess this up? Yeah, I don't think I can use sort. Let's go sort by. Can I use that? Oh, I forgot my arrow. There we go. And so I guess we could do, at first we're just going to do one type, but we will have multiple types at some point. Let's see. So we're gonna check to see if we have the data. So if the state data is equals 100, length dot length. This state data length equals 100, then we're going to call, what was that, Debounce search? Yeah, this Debounce search. And we're also going to do this set states, and we're going to make state, it will be sort by, oops. So we're going to change the value of sort by, and let's go here. And sort by will be a string. Don't need to do wait a second. That should work, right? Did I do that right? I think, is it just mad because I don't have my spaces? What the heck? Sort by. Oh, okay. I named it type. That's why. Sorry, that silly mistake. Okay. It just says state sort by type. So whatever type gets passed in, that's what the sort by is going to be. And eventually, the sort by will probably be a drop down that'll have 4 options: alphabetical ascending, alphabetical descending, date ascending, date descending. So that'll get passed into here. It'll set the type, and then we're going to do a debounce search, and we will modify our search function here to add something into our URL to change the sorting on the WordPress side of things. So where are we at? All right, so now if it's something different, so if the length is equal to 100, actually I need to say or it's equal to 100, or it's equal to 0, right? Because when we're going to do this, this sort type, this actually may not ever come into play, but it's better just to put the check in there. Basically, it would be like, for some reason, if somebody hasn't made a search yet, so the data is nothing, then we want to make another call to get the data. Okay. All right. I think that'll be okay. There may be some unnecessary calls like that, but we can fix it later. But I think it's better to do it like that. Else, this would then mean that the length of the data that we get back, so the number of posts that we get back, is somewhere between 1 and 99. If that's the case, we know we have all the data for that particular search. So when we do that, we're going to sort the actual data. So we're going to take the data, this state data, and then we're going to do a sort. And cool. So let's see. Look, this is awesome. It gives us the documentation for sort. So we're going to have sort compare function. This is great. Okay, so sort, and what we have, type. Yeah, this is definitely going to change based on the type. So for now, we'll just pick 1, I guess. And let's just copy this from our other project to save some time. So let's go to GitHub. So I'm pretty sure we did a sort just like this. Yeah, in this project. And which page is this page? Resources. I'll make it bigger once we get there. There we are. And so where's our props, categories, search term. Oop. Gotta knock on the door. Hold on 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. That was the head of my department, so did not want to keep her waiting. And she usually doesn't knock during the stream. She's just very apologetic about knocking during the stream. Okay. Let's see, where was I? Oh, I'm trying to get the filter. Okay, cool. So this. Oh, you know what? I actually broke things out into 2 different functions. This might be the better way to do it. So what's this? Price filter. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not looking for filters. I'm looking for sorting. Sorry about that. I thought I did have sorting. Do I not have that here? Oh, shoot. Well, my time is up. So normally I'd probably take a little bit extra time and figure this out, but since I'd like to be able to make it to lunch with my coworkers, I'm gonna not do that. So basically, I must be mistaken. We must not have done a sort in this project. So apologies for that. But basically what we would do here then is actually sort the data and then set the state. Whatever we got back from this, we would then set the state with that. So this would be like sorted data equals the state data sort. So the value of sorted data would then be set to this dot set state, and we would go data equals sorted data. Oop. All right, so it would be something like this. This dot set state data equals. What's going on? Oops, not equal. Sorry. There we are. Okay, so you see what would happen. Let me know if you need me to explain that, and I can explain a little bit more. But basically, like we were saying, the point of this is to not waste an API call if we don't need to, and instead do sort like this, which would be much faster. And especially like we want to cut down on the amount of requests going directly back to WordPress. So there are going to be layers of caching, but we're not going to be able to cache search requests because they're going to be so specific. So that's the one place where I'm a little nervous about the load, and it could slow things down. So anything we can do to cut down on the amount of requests is going to be good. Also, just for users that maybe are on a data plan and we don't want to make requests when we don't have to, out of respect for the user, for their money. So for both of those reasons, I think it's our responsibility to try to keep the request to a minimum. Okay, so let me save that, and I do want to push this up to GitHub so that you all can check it out, and it's available for me in case I'm working on a different computer. So let's do git status. See, everything's been in search. So let's do git add. We're going to do git add, and then we will say yarn cm. Yarn CM is something that we have set up for this project. Normally you would just do a git commit at this point and then put your message in, and that's how you do it. But we have a little extra formatting for this project. So we're going to say we've added a new feature, and this is going to be, let's say, add filters for search results. No breaking changes. Alright, so now it's going to run the test. It's going to run the auto linting and auto formatting. And looks like we're going to pass. So far, so good. The tests don't take very long, but we certainly don't have 100% test coverage right now. So that's why they don't take so long. If anybody's interested in writing tests, feel free to write some tests. We have end-to-end tests and unit tests happening right now, so whatever you're interested in. Let's see, git push origin. Whoops, git push origin. All right, so that data is now available in the GitHub repo. You can check it out if you like. Use it for whatever you want to use it for. It's totally open source and free. I'm going to go back to the live chat and answer all the questions. Well, yeah, unless unless you all start putting in a million questions, I may have to cut it off. But right now, it looks like I'm going to be able to get through all the questions that are left. All right. Abhinav says, isn't it better to use Redux in this application? I don't know that we need Redux. Really, the only place where I'd even thought Redux would be helpful was maybe for this search. So if we do need some Redux-like functionality, Apollo now has some of that built in. So I'd have to look that up and see how to use it, but I do believe the newer versions of Apollo have that. So if I think we need it at some point, we'll do that. If there's some good reasons why you think we should use Redux, please let me know. I'll definitely consider it. Michael says, I did something like this in PHP/MySQL pre-GitHub, but I don't know where it is. Well, that's cool. If you find it or you have some advice based on your experience, let me know. I'd appreciate that. Michael says, how are you going to grab the next results after the first 100? Don't know WordPress. Okay, so the WordPress API will allow you to offset your search. I actually think it's called offset is what you put in the string. So in the let's put this down here. So in our string, at some point in our string, we would just say, let's say at the end, I would type something like offset equals, I don't know, 100, right? So now it would skip the first 100 results and give me the next 100 results. So if we did a search that gave us 500 results, we'd only get 100 sent to us first. As we scroll down, we could have it so that if we get close enough to the bottom of the page, it'll automatically send for the next 100 results. And then instead of replacing everything in data, we would just add on to what was already there for the data. So we would essentially be able to show 200 results or more as we keep scrolling down. But we just have to make multiple calls. So the way we would do this is, potentially, let's see, we would make another function that maybe would be called fetch more posts or something. I don't know what I'd call it. And then it would have all of this the same, except it would have this addition of the offset, and then it would increment. So if we've called offset already, then the next time offset calls, it's going to skip 200 posts and then 300 posts. So it would look like that. That's how it would work. I have done it with jQuery on another project, so I know it does work. I'll just have to make sure that I can transport that logic here and have it work with state and with React. Noble and Savage says, boom shakalaka. Also asks, what's your favorite color? My favorite color is red. And what's the airspeed velocity of a European swallow? I don't know that one. That is from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I think that's how it goes. They ask, what's the airspeed of a laden swallow? And then they say, well, you mean a European swallow or an African swallow? And then there's this long conversation that happens. It's been too long since I've seen it to remember everything that they said, but I do remember a bit. Blake says, has anyone coded on a Chromebook or installed Ubuntu on one? I have coded on a Chromebook, but I didn't install Ubuntu. Instead, I used, what's it called? I can't believe I forget the name. Oh, Cloud9. So Cloud9, it's like a remote development environment. So essentially, it is like an Ubuntu server that you're remoting into, and they give you an IDE. So it looks a lot like Atom or Visual Studio Code. You have your terminal at the bottom, so you can run all your Linux commands. install whatever you need to, and have all your different projects. I believe you can pull in stuff from it. It's synced up, with GitHub and with different things, so it makes it a bit easier. So I have done that before, and if you're using Cloud9, it's fine. I mean, it's actually really easy to use. I haven't installed Ubuntu, but I kind of want to. I have a Chromebook right now, and the screen is broken, but I could still use an HDMI cable and use like a desktop. So it would essentially be changing it into a desktop computer, because it would have to have a static screen. But I'm thinking about, since it's already broken, just trying to do Linux on there, and if I mess it up, who cares? So we'll see. I haven't decided for sure what I want to do with that one yet. Adam says C9 requires a credit card, though. It does now, yeah. When I started using it, it didn't. And then they got bought out by somebody, and now they require a credit card. So if you have the credit card, C9 is great. Otherwise, I think there are alternatives, but I haven't checked on alternatives for, it's probably been like 2 years since I checked, so I'm not really sure what's out there right now. Okay, Blake's debating between a new Chromebook or a used ThinkPad. Blake says, was it pretty snappy, and what were the specs? Honestly, Chromebooks are the fastest things I've ever used. Fastest, like by far. In terms of speed, like speed of startup and things like that, like PCs are down here. You can't even see how far down it's off the screen. And then Macs, and then Chromebooks are the fastest. Like, you can't even open the screen like fast enough to try to catch it on a black screen. It's there. It works. It's super fast. You sacrifice some stuff for all the speed. I don't know if it's still that fast if you were to install Ubuntu on it instead of Chrome OS. To tell you the truth, I can't remember what the specs are right now on the Chromebook that I have. So sorry about that, but I got it a while back, so I can't remember. But yeah, Chromebooks they're really nice for certain things. I wouldn't want to develop on one primarily. So I'll say this. I've never had a high-end Chromebook, but if you're going to go with a high-end Chromebook, it's going to get pricey. From the Chromebooks that I've used, which are kind of lower end, I wouldn't want to have that be my primary development environment. I just kind of like to have more of the freedom to do things. So a Chromebook with Ubuntu installed, that might be perfect. I just haven't tried it personally, so I can't really recommend it. I mean, it sounds like logically it should work out and be awesome. If you do it, please let me know, because I definitely want to see like how that turns out, and maybe do it myself. Divyesh says, hello, I'm just learning React and JavaScript too. I get frustrated as I need more practice with DS and algorithm and JavaScript. Can you suggest me something? You can try out the the algorithm challenges in freeCodeCamp, and there's a free book that's on GitHub called You Don't Know JS. Read through those. That's really great for kind of learning a lot of the basics of JavaScript. And so it's text, and then it also has some exercises. So check that out. I mean, you can't beat it as a free resource. It's really good. Let's see. I think it's time for me to go. So might not be able to get through all of this. Hey, JavaScript is here. Hey, how's it going? Okay, JavaScripter says Chromebook with Linux installed is a no-go. Done it before. Trust me, no good. Okay, so I had a bad experience with that. I wonder if it would depend on the specs of the Chromebook. I imagine it would. It seems to me like Linux may use more resources than Chrome OS is meant to use, so you might need a more powerful computer. Anyway, I just got a message that said they're leaving in just a few minutes, so I'm gonna have to end the stream thank you all for watching. I should be back tomorrow. I want to try to stream as much as I can this week and get as much done as we can on this site. So most likely I'll be back around noon tomorrow. Thank you all again for watching and for your help. And until tomorrow, have a great